There we go.
Hey, once again, you have fallen straight into Hella Vella and into the Lawless Interviews. I'm Azriel Lawless, and today we have marketer, promoter, author promoter. I don't know exactly what his title is, but it's Michael Lee, and I am so very happy to have him here and grill him like a nice piece of fish for you. Okay, so
Happy to be here.
oh, I'm so excited to talk to you. So, Michael, tell me now, I want to get this correct. So, what is your title? What do you call yourself? What?
It depends on the client, and but typically most people know me as a marketing manager, and that's a very hands-on approach to author marketing, where I run everything from Facebook ads to business strategy. But then on a broader sense, I'm also a marketing consultant and educator. So we have our platform Book Genie, which if anyone's been following me around, they've probably heard me mention a dozen times, which is our online school, but also where we provide our services through to like our consultations that we schedule. And I do everything marketing related, platform building, and helping steer people strategically. And then I co-run this business with actually author Callie Chase, who is a professional instructor on the editing side and the traditional publishing roadmap.
Wow. Wow. I was still listening, right?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. It adds a little bit there, but I've been a marketing manager for about 2 years now, at least specifically for authors. But I came into the industry actually through business rather than directly through authors, and it was actually through Callie where I first started connecting with some of these authors to where I am now on Kindle Vella with Audrey Carlin, who's probably the most well-known of my clients.
Yes.
With the marriage auction currently on Kindle Vella.
Wow. So Callie Chase, Audrey Carlin, and wow, these are big clients. These people are
they're fantastic as well. I can't wait for you to get to chat with them too, because they're both wonderful human beings.
I'm just looking forward to it. I really am, and I hope it happens soon. I'm such a fangirl. It's beautiful. So, marketing manager, and you also do. I mean, I know that you're hands-on too for authors. I think is it Book Genie that offers the website building services, or is that you?
Yeah, that is Book Genie. So I do offer a lot of additional services through Book Genie, because we found that during the marketing journey, especially when you're managing an author, you're going to find them in all sorts of different positions in their career, and some of them have systems in place that they love and work for them, but we like to fill in the gaps with what's missing for authors too, and try to build them better systems. And so I've been a web designer since I was 13, and I've designed sites on all across the board, but now I'm building them specifically for authors. I do offer them for other businesses as well, but we're offering that website package, and then I also help with email marketing and building up a newsletter and some of the additional tech setup side of building an author platform.
See, I love that, because I am a client. So, and I'm very excited about my website, which is being built by Michael at Book Genie, or through Book Genie, and I'm super stoked about it.
Well, thank you. I'm stoked to be building it.
I can't wait. I can't wait until it goes live, and I can like hand, I can say, here's my site. Here's my
Well,
sign.
yeah, it's so that's something I think that authors kind of struggle with, especially starting out, is the website. They're not really sure how to use it, or um, sometimes it can feel like it's just a thing that exists that some authors have and some don't. And I really emphasize that it's kind of a, I call it the Swiss Army knife of marketing tools, because it kind of has a function for everything you do as an author. You can adapt it and really control, because there's so much flexibility on a website. You can kind of make it fit any mold that you need it to. And so that flexibility, that control of your brand is something that one of the things I start off at the very beginning with an author.
And let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about brand and control of the brand. I mean, these words get bandied about by people who are a little more veteran to writing and understanding how an author becomes, a brand, a household name. Please God, a household name, and and a TikTok god and an Instagram star. Please let it be. But a lot of people just starting out, because I know I was one in that, and barely 8 months ago, wasn't really familiar with branding as it relates to authors. So could you tell us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit about what
Absolutely. So actually a workshop I just ran on Book Genie was very much heavily around the whole how you should think about your author business, and how all of these things like marketing and branding start to come into play, and really coming at it from a higher level perspective, where you're taking it the full scope of your business in a broader picture. And unfortunately for authors, there comes a point when you start to recognize that this is a business now,
right,
and that once you've reached the stage where you're considering about making this a recurring income, a stable recurring income, or even going to a full-time writer, branding becomes even more important to have outlined to some extent. And you're going to find branding on different levels of your business. You're going to find the business whole, the business wider branding, which is stuff like, if you, as an author, you may have an author logo or signature, and then color schemes that you generally associate. For Audrey Carlin, if you go to her site, you'll see there's hints of this darker reddish color. And then certain fonts that start to get used across social media and your newsletter and your website, that kind of tie everything together in it's like a nice little bow that makes you instantly memorable. But then you're also going to get branding for books. Specific series will come with their own unique design, but they'll be consistent book to book in that kind of imagery, in their color schemes and the fonts they use. But also there comes a sense of almost the emotional layer that you, the way you resonate with people emotionally, and the language you use online. And so you might follow brands on, I'm going to use Twitter as an example, but you'll see certain brands you follow on Twitter will be comedic in their approach on Twitter, and they're very humorous. And then you've got some brands which are a little bit more suit and tie, professional, XYZ, and that's kind of the different. It's not really emotional, but that's the word I'm going to go with.
I like to think of it as stylistically.
Yeah, and I think everybody's got a unique style to them, but being able to tie that style into genre expectations, industry expectations is quite important. And so studying authors within your realm, or studying authors that you would like to aspire to be, in a sense, to imitate some of the things that they do well, is a great way to start in forming that brand. like for a brand new brand, once we've pinned down the genre that we want to be in, which is really the first thing you ever have to do, which is figuring out what it is you want to write. We then start to look at, well, who are the big players in this field, and start to find patterns amongst them that we can see in the most successful, and then we'll look to build a brand around those key themes, those ideas. Whether it's in romance, you get a lot of covers which have male models on the cover, for example. That's a strong trend that gets pushed all the time. They usually have darker color schemes in the background as well to give off this more edgy mood, if you like. And so things like that are little pieces we piece together. But then as an author brand on the larger scale, we'll be looking at ways to make the brand a little bit more unique. And so color and font is an absolute essential to get laid down and be very focused on, but also then stylistically, as you better phrase than I, is also extremely important.
Before I started coughing myself, into a fit over here. I keep all this stuff at hand to drink because, well, I've got
my little, I've got my cup of tea to get me through. That's my go-to.
That's what I should have made for this this interview. Well, okay, so stylistically and emotionally, I think that has to go in there. I think it just has to go in there. You said, oh, I call it emotionally and think there was a better word. I don't think there is a better word, because the style is evocative of some emotion. You want it to be, at least. That's the goal. You want romance readers to think, oh my God, I have to pick this up because, oh, and the covers that you're describing there, I think you were saying for like the darker romances, it's like, I call them "Dude, where's my shirt?" cover,
Yeah. It doesn't, I'm not saying though as well, you won't find authors who aren't doing it, but with a brand new brand as well, it's a really good place to start, is to look at the common themes. So you are going to find romances which have other things besides the shirtless man.
Right. You're always going to find things that break away and do their own thing.
Yeah. It's the exceptions that prove the rule.
It's I like to think of it as like you're in a river, right? And you want to get in the biggest current.
Yeah.
You want to get in where the biggest flow is. You want to get ahead. You want to move. You want to get in where the biggest flow is.
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it.
And yeah, when you're big enough, you can make your own flow. Well, others will draft after you. So
exactly,
there you go. But in the beginning, yeah. So I love that. That's a great tip, and I'm going to do it. I have not yet done it. Honestly.
Well, there's no better time to start than now. So
now, yeah. When I need to do a bazillion things, right? But I'm so glad you took the website off of me, because even though, and honestly, I am fairly adept technically. Now, I haven't actually written a website in about 300 years, right? When we were chiseling them on stone tablets, I knew how to actually write. But I did actually know WordPress pretty well. And it's, oh my God, it is such a gnarly.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, such an incredibly overwhelming tool.
Yeah, and I've seen people use Squarespace. I've seen people use Wix. Those are also some of the most common ones I hear authors using. And I would say that just to add to any author who's gone through the website building process, or they've maybe started with one like that, a website builder, these platforms have been built so that people can set up a presence online, but what they don't educate you to do is how to get people to see it and how to actually get value from it. They only simplify the process of making it. And so what you end up with more often than not is a website that you're paying a monthly fee for that doesn't actually get people to visit the page. And Wix and Squarespace and WordPress will not walk you through that process. They won't teach you how to make sites. Marketers call them, sites that convert. And it sounds salesy to say it, but it's honestly the truth that without developing it in specific ways, attaching certain marketing tools to the site and directing traffic the right way, they just become a placeholder, really, rather than a tool that helps you grow.
That is very, very true. And I'm one of those people. I thought, well, I'm going to do this on WordPress because I remember WordPress. Well, I had forgotten how crappy WordPress was and how hard it is. If you're not using it like every day, yeah, you're going to go in there into WordPress and just go, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing in here. And of course, it is a very powerful tool. And in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, it'll do a lot, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But,
you can.
Yeah, but in the hands of an amateur like myself, you can't do anything. And plus, you're trying to write. You're trying to actually create content for people to come and look at. And you're sitting here and you're screwing around with a website that you're lousy at. Tears are streaming down your face. You're like, I want to be writing. I want to be writing. Yeah, I just didn't have the bandwidth for doing my own webpage, and I know a lot of people don't. And right. I am so happy that I met you, and it's so affordable to get it done correctly, and to hang it somewhere. It's going to be, with a provider that wants to help you get seen, and it means a lot. So I am totally stoked about where this is going, because do you feel that Vella is sort of, as it evolves, which it's still just a baby, right, a real baby, as we have discussed before, but do you think it's already developing its own sort of characteristics versus the more traditional reading platforms where you're reading whole books?
Absolutely. I think it's in its differences that we're best able to sell it. And I hear comparisons to Wattpad, to Radish, to all these other serial sites too. And I think you have to be a little bit careful with where you draw the line in those comparisons. And Vella is very much, as we've talked about before, in its early days. I do run, in fact, I have a free one tonight on Kindle Vella marketing, where I plan to talk a little bit about those unique features that kind of change the way that you market Kindle Vella. But to give you a little snippet of information then from that talk, Kindle Vella is, because it's serialized, people think that when readers come to the platform and they start reading your episodes, instead of seeing each episode as a bite-sized commitment that they can make incrementally, you also have to see it as every time they finish an episode and they get to the bottom of that, they go through a decision process of, are they going to straight away read your next episode, or are they going to get distracted by life that comes up and walk away from that episode? And without encouragement to come back, you're going to lose out on your most valuable customers, who are the ones who have tried your series. And so unlike typical author strategies, which are focused on building as big a list as you can and marketing heavily a new release till it runs dry, dropping it, and then working on the next book and marking that brand new. It's really heavily focused on retaining a level of interest and stimulating engagement in that that reader group that you're starting to build. And I mean, I could talk people's ears off with how you do that, but that moves away from marketing concepts and moves towards marketing tools. And that's something, again, I break down in more detail, which is there's a difference between a Facebook tool like Facebook ads and a marketing tool, even like Facebook ads, and a marketing concept like funnel marketing or flywheel marketing, which are more methodologies and thought processes about how best to set up these systems. And it's really important to understand the concepts to be able to apply the tools properly. And most people don't know the concepts to even get started with the tools. They try the tools, they don't work, and then they give up on that tool and try a different tool. And without building these foundational understandings of marketing, it's really hard to apply the tool and make it adaptable to changing products like Kindle Vella.
And I didn't really mean to keep plugging Book Genie, but I'm going to plug Book Genie because that's it. You can get educated at Book Genie, can't you? You can.
Yeah. So we've actually run 2 events over the past 2 days, which is the most I've actually run in such a short time span. But they were live events, and we had lots of authors attend, and it ends up being a bit more free-form conversation between myself and everybody who turns up. But we pick a specific topic, and so last night was Facebook ads. And we went on about answering all of these questions with people who've never run Facebook ads. They've tried Facebook ads and they haven't worked, or they're and speaking to them in a much more personal manner about those problems and how they can best go forward to fix them. But we also do have written courses. Callie Chase built a school, an online school called Romance Writing Academy, which is now part of the Book Genie network. And so there's dozens of courses on how to write a romance novel. But she also was a former head writer at Radish, and so there's a lot of great content on writing serial fiction too.
Oh, wonderful. And this is Callie. Yeah,
this is Callie. She's formerly known. Her real name's Jeannie DeVita, but her pen name's Callie Chase. And
I'm sorry, her real name is what?
Jeannie DeVita, but like Genie in the lamp, but not spelled like that.
Okay, great. Oh, okay.
And I can send you a link for everyone on Hella Vella, because we've been giving away free trials for everybody on the network.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
So I can send you a link so everybody who's watching this can get a 1 week free trial. We've got a newsletter event actually this Thursday, so if people join before Thursday, they can they'll be able to attend an event for free all about newsletters.
Woohoo! I need to go to that, that's for sure. I'm just getting started, and this is all very exciting to and you guys are really building a nice I don't know, it's like a community, because that you can host your website here with people who like know the business that you're in, know what you're trying to do, know where you're trying to go.
Yeah, that's been something we've and I don't mean to plug Book Genie too long. We'll get straight back to Kindle Vella, but
I know
that's something we've really struggled though with Facebook groups, because we've been in a lot of them during our time working with authors, and Facebook is not built as a educational platform. It's built to stimulate whatever gets the most engagement is what gets shown to you. And so if you're a member of a Facebook group and you post a question, only if your question gets enough engagement do you get an answer. And once it starts to get that level of engagement, you get a lot of different answers with contradicting opinions, and you're basing the knowledge not from a professional advice which is tailored to your experience and what's going to be best for you, but the opinions of the masses on the internet, which we all know can be a mixed bag of results.
Very interesting. Yes, yes. Yes. So I don't know. I love the idea of the community of these writers. And now there's you guys, which you're sort of crossovers. You're a writer's service industry, if you will. Yeah. Is that fair
Sort
to
of,
say?
yeah. Absolutely. The other thing we're doing right now, which we're loving, is we run what's called asynchronous accountability sessions. And so Jeannie and I are on every day, and we have a bunch of other writers who pop in during their workday, and we run these almost like writing sprints, but you can come at any time of your working day to do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be writing, and you'll be tracked in what's called the Pomodoro technique, which is 25 minutes of work and then 5 minutes of break. And you can pop on your headphones, and we play you like pre-tailored music, but for focusing. But if you don't like that, you can connect your Spotify and play away too. But that's been a really big hit, because it's one thing to be able to teach people how to make progress, and it's another thing to be able to sit with them and work
while they make progress.
while they're making that progress. And so
that's pretty cool.
We'll do those accountability sessions. We do them every day, and that's actually completely free to join. So if you don't
so is there a link for that?
Yeah, I'll send you all the links to all of this stuff, which you can attach for YouTube, and we can share around too. But that's completely free. So if people don't end up sticking with us for the Book Genie courses and community, they can at least come and work with other writers at the same time.
That is so awesome. I know I'm going to do it. I've been interested in exploring the Pomodoro technique, but I didn't know where to go. So this is really awesome, because I had heard about it from another writer, how they got their engine going, you know.
Yeah. It's amazing. We Callie, I started getting Callie to do it because for me, understanding the numbers is the most important thing to my job. And one of the things I really need to know is, well, how fast can this person write feasibly in a day? And we're now getting to about 8,000 to 10,000 words of content a day thanks to this timer, just because we're setting these aggressive goals and really pumping on the gas in terms of productivity. I'm not saying everybody should try write that much content
No. And you can't. It's kind of like drinking poison. You don't want to do it all at once. Okay, folks,
exactly.
Drop at a time to get to these numbers. I have heard of other writers who can hit these phenomenal numbers, but it does take a lot out of you. So seriously, new writers, don't even
try to do that.
Don't try this at home. Don't even. Okay, because literally you can break your flipping mind, and you don't want to do it. Someone like Callie Chase, Jeannie
DeVita.
Oh, yeah. DeVita. Okay, I wrote it wrong. Anyway, this person has, flexed their writing muscle, and is like, this, she's all Schwarzeneggered out with her writing muscle. So you wouldn't have tried to lift the same weights as Schwarzenegger in his heyday.
But you can absolutely get there. You can absolutely get there.
Absolutely get there, but incrementally.
Yeah, it takes training and time.
It does, because it is like a muscle, and you must work it and flex it to be able to do these phenomenal things with it. So it's so awesome. So the last thing I'm going to ask you, because I say I've used over an hour of your time now, before I let you go, if there's one piece of advice that you could give a struggling Vella author who wants to be seen and wants to, have people read their stuff and come back and effectively subscribe to their story by following it on Kindle Vella, what one piece of advice would you give above all?
I'm gonna cheat and go with two, because there's really two different fields of authors on Kindle Vella, or two groups I'd set them apart in. And the first group is the new authors who are maybe Vella's their first project, or it's their first time really growing their brand. It's of a small size, and that would be, don't focus on Vella, focus on platform building. And author platform building is all about social presences and your newsletter, things like a reader magnet. You want to really grow your base rather than growing one product. But from once you've built up that platform and that base, you'll be able to transition those people to Kindle Vella, if it's Kindle Vella, or if it's another novel that comes in the future because you decide you want to try KU or publishing wide. You have options when you take that approach, and so there's plenty of strategies and documentation on how to do that. You can come reach out to Book Genie as well, and we'll walk you through the process. But then if you are an experienced author, which is the other group, you have a newsletter, you have the base, but they're not translating. It comes down to the three essential things for marketers, which is market, audience, and product. The first thing is market, which is Vella actually the right platform for what you're writing? If you're not writing serialized content and you've been writing novels, there might be problems in your work that you might not be able to identify, because serial fiction is actually quite different from novel writing. So that's the first thing, to absolutely make sure that Kindle Vella is actually the right space for you. Second thing is audience. Who are you trying to bring to Vella, and what messages are you sending to them? For Audrey, I would have broken down her audiences into multiple different segments. I would have gone with people who are Audrey Carlin readers already, people who like serial fiction, and people who like contemporary romance. And I would have tied these groups together in different ways and looked at which ones are translating and what message is the right message to bring those type of people in, because new people who've never heard of your brand before aren't going to connect with the same message that your most loyal fans are going to connect with. And so how you communicate about Vella needs to change accordingly in order to get that adoption. And then the last thing comes down to product, and that again kind of relates back to the knowing if Kindle Vella is the right platform for you, but also understanding the intricacies that help benefit exposure on Vella. And I write free reports on this. I do it on Book Genie again, and I've talked about it in interviews, but the biggest driving force for organic exposure on Vella is your Crown ranking in the top 250 fave lists. You can see that from the reports I do on the exponential reads and likes that authors get based on their position. And so prioritizing a strategy which gets you the most crowns possible will in turn give you the most organic growth. But then in terms of paid strategies, you have to really rethink what advertising looks like as an author on serialized fiction, so that it's incorporates more retention-based strategies, which are retargeting people who are reading rather than just focusing on how many people can you get to episode 1, if that makes sense. So that'd be my tip. I know that's a bit of a mouthful of rather than a short sentence, but
well, yeah. And when you got to the second group of people, which were the experienced people who have all their readers, and so they're having to think in the three-pronged marketing sense already. I mean, by that time, you better have hired somebody.
Yeah.
You better have hired somebody, or you're not,
well, some
unless you
people,
have so much content
yeah,
already there that you don't need to write again for the next year or so. Then if you can devote yourself 100%, okay. But if you
it
can't,
certainly helps. It certainly helps if you can get someone experienced on the journey to help guide you through it. I would look for consultations rather than a marketing manager, unless you're at a Audrey Carlin stage of your career.
You're already at a stage where you can hire someone like that
Yeah.
and put them on a percentage contract. That's one thing. But advice sessions are great. Learning from websites are great, from what's already out there. And a lot of the free stuff that you offer, it's really nice, I think.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I really care about supporting authors and helping them better understand their business, because unfortunately it is a business, and with that there's risks and investment, and making sure that you make the best decisions for you it is the most important thing for all of this, so that it remains healthy, enjoyable, and sustainable.
Yes. And it is a business. That is the number one thing to accept, is basically you yourself, your mind, what you come up with to write, how you decide to package it. This is your business. This is your house. You're trying to get people to come and see you, and you better stuff it full of a variety of content, so that they have a variety within certain walls that you've built and certain parameters.
Exactly.
And have them keep coming back. I mean, are you the Hello Kitty store? Are you the Sanrio store? Or, what are you? But that is a brilliant example of marketing and branding. Okay. Say what you will of Sanrio. Sanrio's merchandise when you look at it, when you see it,
And we in an interview, in like an hour-long interview, it's probably a little bit difficult for an author to walk away from something like this with a concrete like roadmap or a guide, which is something it takes more time than an interview, which is why we built Book Genie. And so if anyone wants to check that out, again, I'm going to mention that we have that free trial for everybody on Hella Vella. But it's a process, it's a journey, and we're here to help.
Oh yeah, excellent. Well, I can't end it any better than that, folks. This has been Michael Lee, and thank you so much for taking the time to come out here and give us an interview on Lawless Interviews. Thank you, and I'm going to be on that call later on this evening. So thanks again.